Okay, 7:31. We're 1 minute late. That's fine. So Al is not here tonight, and I will be filling in for him. So here we go. We will call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Ms. Dolan?
Here.
Ms. Belisca? Present. Mrs. McKnight?
Here.
Mrs. Jeffrey?
Here.
Mr. Kogan?
Here.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Here.
Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is a public notice. This is a public meeting of the Borough Council of the Borough of New Providence, County of Union, State of New Jersey. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with PL 1975, Chapter 231, in that an annual notice or revision was made in conformance with Section 13 of the Act. Tonight we have a couple proclamations. So we will have Nadine do the proclamation for Food Insecurity Month.
Okay. And then, do you want to start with Red Ribbon Week?
We'll start with Red Ribbon Week.
I couldn't say that one. So.
Red Ribbon Week. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Red Ribbon
So
Week.
we'll go down
Do we
there.
have somebody?
Is there anybody from there?
Red Ribbon?
Red Ribbon?
Oh. So what do we do then?
So I can take it because Al's going to read it, I think, at something for Municipal Alliance he mentioned.
Yeah. So
You
want
can
to-
read it if you want,
Yeah.
and then we can do it.
Why don't you read it and then they can do it again? So when the middle school peer leaders are going to come, they tie ribbons all throughout the downtown. They tie ribbons throughout the whole downtown. Al will read that proclamation again for the peer leaders, but Lisa will read it for
Okay,
tonight.
so this is a proclamation designating October 23rd through October 31st of 2025 as Red Ribbon Week. That is a tough one to say. Red Ribbon Week. Whereas alcohol and drug abuse in this nation has reached epidemic stages, and whereas it is imperative that visible, unified prevention, education efforts by community members be launched to eliminate the demand for drugs, and whereas the National Family Partnership is sponsoring the National Red Ribbon Campaign, offering citizens the opportunity to demonstrate their commitment to drug-free lifestyles, and whereas the National Red Ribbon Campaign will be celebrated in every community in America during Red Ribbon Week, October 23rd to 31st, whereas business, government, parents, law enforcement, media, medical institutions, religious institutions, schools, senior citizens, service organizations, and youth will demonstrate their commitment to healthy, drug-free lifestyles by wearing and displaying red ribbons during this week-long campaign. And whereas the community of New Providence further commits its resources to ensure the success of Red Ribbon Campaign, now therefore be it resolved that I, Lisa McKnight, as well as Alan Morgan, Mayor of the Borough of New Providence, County of Union, State of New Jersey, hereby proclaim the 23rd through the 31st of 2025 as Red Ribbon Week, and encourages citizens to participate in drug prevention education activities, not only during Red Ribbon Week, but all year long, making a visible statement that we are strongly committed to a drug-free New Providence.
Very nice. Reflex.
Well done.
Reflex. Okay, so who wants to come up? We should all come up.
All right.
That's the whole gang.
I should come up for the OLP
Yeah.
sandwich ministry.
Okay, so today we're representing, this is the Link Group, Leading Initiative for Neighborhood Change. We're one of several food pantries that are in the borough. So this is run out of the Methodist Church, but we also have OLP and a couple other groups. So representing Food Insecurity Month is my team over at. Okay, so this is a proclamation designating October as Food Insecurity Awareness Month. Whereas food insecurity is the lack of consistent access to enough food for every person in a household to live an active, healthy life. It can be temporary or long-lasting and affects people across all different races, ages, and income classes in the United States. And whereas in America, about 1 in 10 people and 1 in 6 children are experiencing food insecurity. Within Union County alone, over 7.3% of residents, or about 40,000 people, are currently food insecure, including a rate of 9.2% for children, or about 12,000 children. And whereas thousands of nonprofit organizations and food banks, including the LINK Program Incorporated, have been set up across the United States with the goal of fighting food insecurity, working tirelessly to provide families with necessary nutritional support, because food insecurity is often tied to other major troubles like poverty, unemployment, health conditions, and more. It is even harder to put an end to it. However, with the issue growing every day, more work must be done to raise awareness about it and fight it head-on. Now, therefore, I, Councilwoman Nadine Jeffroy, along with Alan Morgan, Mayor of the Borough of New Providence, County of Union, and State of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim the month of October as Food Insecurity Awareness Month in New Providence, New Jersey, and encourage all residents to observe Food Insecurity Awareness Month and support this cause that so deeply impacts family in every community across our country. So, thank you so much. So, thank you. Then we're going to get a picture, and then... Okay.
Just gotta make sure we see the Bucknell logo.
Okay, so this is Aidan Marsh. He's our chair, and this is Abby Franco, and she was also chair, but these are our 2 founding members of LINK. If you guys want to talk a little bit about how the program works, maybe about a little bit about school fuel, and this is our board of directors.
Yeah, so as you said, I'm Aidan Barth, and Abby and I started it together now 4 years ago, and we've been doing these proclamations every year, just trying to get awareness about our cause every year. And as you've seen by the size of the people that we have a huge community behind us, and we're so thankful to have New Providence behind us every step of the way. These are all made up of New Providence community members. So what we do is we provide necessary resources for families in need in this local area. We do about a 5-mile radius around New Providence. So that includes places like Westfield, Springfield, Berkeley Heights, Summit, etc. And we provide food, hygiene products, and cleaning supplies for those in need. We do it on a monthly basis, so we have a location at the United Methodist Church, which is the one across from the pool parking lot. And every month, families come to us, and they get to sort of shop around a set of food, hygiene products, and cleaning supplies. That way, it's not like your typical food pantry where you get kind of a pre-made box. They get to pick exactly what they want, whether it's the type of item they want, but also the brand, as well as fresh produce, eggs, meat, vegetable, carrots, or not carrots, eggs, meat, vegetables, and fruits, as well as some local stuff from the Giving Garden, which is outside the United Methodist Church.
Just again, like our mission to reiterate is to make sure that every person in New Providence, regardless of income, gender, race, religion, that they have equal access to live a healthy lifestyle. So like Aidan mentioned, we aren't just a food pantry, we're a resource pantry. Particularly, we've expanded our efforts within the New Providence School District. So in each school in the New Providence District, there is a pantry called School Fuel, which we provide grab-and-go items for children suffering from food insecurity. It's completely anonymous. The program, so at any time, children can go and get the resources that they need. Additionally, something that I would like to emphasize, if you're looking for something to donate, we do donate hygiene products. We do collect hygiene products and we give those out to the families. It's something that's a little less thought about, but that is essential to leading a healthy life, is having access to soap and toothpaste and toothbrushes. So we really want to just help empower our families, really empower their autonomy to choose what they are receiving, feeding their families, cooking at home, but we really want to be able to do it without the support of our community. So we just like to say thank you.
And donations are accepted anytime. There's a shelf in the back of the church, so you can just drive up anytime, drop off donations, and they are greatly appreciated.
Yeah, again, this is our team, our board, and also our shopping team members, the ones that make it all happen. Donna and Pat, they've been instrumental in all of our work. So thank you again for all this. We really appreciate all your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah.
Honored to be a part of an amazing team.
Exciting.
Sorry, I'm gonna, thank you, Lisa.
Hi, nice to meet you too, Kathleen.
Thanks so much.
You don't have to stick around, you can let them know.
Yeah, you can let them know they can go.
It's pretty amazing in our small little town that we have not only Link, but we also have like the OLP food pantry and the sandwich ministry at OLP, the drive-through dinners at the Presbyterian Church. We truly are a community that values our people.
That's true. And giving, very giving community.
Okay.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So next we have the approval of minutes. I need a motion on minutes from September 30th.
So moved?
Okay. All in favor?
You need a second?
Yes.
Yes.
Second.
And then
We have a
second,
second.
and then-
Got it.
Yes.
Okay,
Aye.
got it.
Got it?
It's fine.
Correspondence items. We have, the first one is David Blitt, 11 Johnson Drive, the bamboo ordinance concerns. So this was from September 25th, 2025, so that was from a while ago. Board of Adjustment, notice of public hearing, 26 Ridgeview Avenue, October 1st, seeking a variance to construct an addition. We have Remington and Vernick Engineers, NJDEP Freshwater, Wetlands, and Flood Hazard Area Permit applications, Passaic River Cleaning within the Long Hill Township and Berkeley Heights Township. This is from October 2nd. The Union County Improvement Authority is seeking a permit to remove some debris and obstructions from a section of the river that's located on the Berkeley Heights Long Hill border, and that's going to be part of the park improvement that's going on at 735 Springfield Avenue. We have a PSE&G notice of vegetative maintenance, providing notice of upcoming vegetative management work along the electric transmission corridor. David Blitt, 11 Johnson Drive, again, the bamboo ordinance concerns. This is dated October 4th. City of Summit zoning ordinance 253359, introduction amending the development regulations, dated October 8th. City of Summit is providing notice of updates to their development regulation ordinances. I don't know how I've got this, sorry, got some weird stuff popping up on my computer. The City of Summit is, so the City of Summit is providing notice of updates to their redevelopment regulations ordinances. We have a couple resignations from the fire department. I think I have their full names here. Let's see. So David Buell is resigning. We have Caden Zhu. David Zhu resigning. Caden Zhu, sorry. We have a new junior member in Ryan Morgan, and I believe that's Al's grandson. Next correspondence is the New Jersey Department of Transportation fiscal year 2026 Freight Impact Fund that dated October 9th. This is providing notice of grant availability for local Freight Impact Fund, which provides aid to counties and municipalities for transportation products that address the impacts of freight travel in local communities and on local transportation infrastructures. Let's see, next we'll move on to council business. We'll start with Kathleen.
Thank you, Council
Administration.
President. This is Resolution 2025-259. It's a resolution approving a proposal from Kroll LLC for fixed asset accounting and property insurance appraisal. So this is approving the agreement for Kroll LLC to do a property insurance appraisal for the Borough of New Providence's use in connection with its internal analysis of its insurance needs with respect to the identified property. It has been 10 years since the buildings and contents were inspected. So we are looking forward to that assessment.
Okay, thank you. Board of Health. Alex?
Thank you, Lisa. Board of Health, ordinance 2025-11. This is an ordinance amending Chapter 333 of the Code of the Borough titled Sanitary Standards. So The Board of Health is looking to amend this chapter regarding the garbage collection for commercial properties. Right now, I think we have several complaints that commercial haulers are picking up 2, 3 in the morning. So this brings that ordinance in line with what the residential ordinance is like.
You could just stay right on.
I'll continue on
Yeah.
engineering. Resolution 260, resolution accepting written employment resignation from Joseph, is it Broccoli or Broccoli? Broccoli, just like it's read, as part-time electrical subcode official of the Borough of New Providence. Joe's resigning due to retirement. He's been with us for 4 years. Authorization to hire electrical subcode inspector. This requests permission to fill the post vacancy left by Joe's retirement. Resolution 261. This is resolution approving requisition R202053 for Montana Construction Corp. Inc. in the amount not to exceed $38,500 for emergency storm drain repairs at Pittsford Way and Springfield Avenue, BC-BID-23-13. This approves the replacement of a collapsed storm pipe at the intersection of Pittsford and Springfield. Resolution 262, resolution authorizing the participation in Resilient New Jersey Regional Assistance Program for the Borough of New Providence. Through Resilient New Jersey Regional Assistance Program, the NJDEP is funding regional teams instead of interested in developing comprehensive community-led regional resilient action plans with assistance from our consultant teams. So the borough, we're going to partner with Berkeley Heights, Long Hill, Summit, Chatham, Scotch Plains, and the city of Plainfield in this endeavor. So thanks to Bernadette, Scotch Plains and Plainfield just were added very recently.
All right, I will cover finance. We have Resolution 2025-263. This is a resolution approving the filing of CY 2025 FY 2026 Best Practices Inventory Questionnaire. The 2025 inventory assesses each municipality's compliance with various laws and evaluates the implementation of fiscal and operational best practices. Inventory answers provide taxpayers with an additional means of evaluating their municipality's performance. There are a total of 70 questions on the best practices inventory, with 6 new scored questions and 9 unscored questions. Each municipality must receive a minimum score of 32 to receive its full final aid payment. We have Resolution 2025-264, resolution authorizing the payment of attached bills payable list. The amount is $2,395,754. The significant items include $1,513,490 to the New Providence Board of Education for their October tax levy. Montana Construction for $299,603, storm-related repairs. Horizon Healthcare for $148,254. That's our October healthcare. The New Providence Memorial Library for $104,957 for their October appropriation. And Suburban Disposal, $49,083, and that is for September garbage. Public safety is, then I'll cover that. I'll just keep going. Resolution 2025-265 is a resolution appointing John Signorello as our Emergency Management Coordinator in training for the Borough of New Providence. As you recall, we were looking to hire somebody for that position. John Signorello is our chief at the fire department and is just a perfect fit for this position. He will not officially take over the reins until January 1st. However, this resolution will allow us to provide him a stipend, so to speak, an hourly stipend, because he is putting time in for training and attending conferences and seminars and such. So we are paying him a small stipend for his time.
He happens to be here in the back.
He is here in the
And,
back.
oh, John, hi, John.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to embarrass John too much here, but when I was on public safety and one of my very first meetings, there was an event in town, and it was a very serious event, and the chief, John, the mayor, myself, Bernadette, we were just discussing this incident, and I just sat there, and I didn't really know him that well, and he was just walking through this incident from the minute the call came in to the minute that he left, which was like the last person to leave, and it was so detailed. I felt like I was there, and I'll be honest with you, I was so impressed, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm happy that we have you as our fire chief, and now I'm even more proud and excited to have you as our OEM, because it's a very important role, and I know Chief Henn, kind of played that role for us, which was, a very difficult role to play, as the chief of police as well. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
And we've had a lot of conversations about different storm events and stuff, and we're very excited about you taking over the reins and, increasing communications and different things within the borough. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Congratulations. Not sworn in yet, but yeah. We let the cat out of the bag.
Now you go start training. Let's go.
Okay, so Resolution 2025-266 is a resolution approving requisition R2502065 for Whitmere Public Safety Group in an amount not to exceed $29,939. This is for fire department turnout gear. The state contract is 17-Fleet-00810, and this is approving the replacement of 7 sets of turnout gear for our fire department. Much needed. So next we have some discussion items. We have a proposed ordinance amending Chapter 333 related to all things chickens.
Yes. So Alex and I will be kicking off the discussion as the liaisons to the Board of Health. So the topic comes up periodically about chickens, about residents owning chickens, how this can be, how can we have them, how can we regulate it, etc. It kind of sounds like a foreign concept to many because you wouldn't think that there would be chickens here in New Providence. So what we
Turkeys. Plenty of
plenty of turkeys. But what we want to do is we want to address it, and we want to understand all the pieces of it and decide, do we want to allow chickens at all? Do we want to have a solid ordinance around it? The solid ordinance is also being discussed simultaneously in Berkeley Heights. Just so you know, chickens are allowed in Milburn, they're allowed in Madison, we believe they're allowed in Summit. So our surrounding towns do have chicken ordinances. So to ensure that we have the most complete chicken ordinance, we did research. Bernadette did research around, and I think Paul did research around making sure that we've considered every aspect of this. So we're not putting forth an ordinance tonight. We would like to bring our thoughts to council, get your thoughts, to see what is it that would make a complete chicken ordinance. So some topics around this would be permits being renewed annually, inspections, so inspections of chicken coops should be done annually or on a complaint basis. There should be a zoning clause that zoning has approved location of the coop before the application is submitted. There are many different types of chicken coops. Suggest having the resident provide plans for approval of the coop. And also, we would need to figure out how many roosts on site and nesting boxes. What do those coops look like? Would they have an impermeable floor? How many chickens would be permitted? Would we allow roosters? Most people don't allow roosters. What about the selling of eggs? So as you can tell, there are many different aspects. What do you do if there's a sick chicken?
On South Street.
So basically, like I said tonight, Alex and I would like to go around and ask everybody on council their thoughts. We're going to be drafting this up. and hopefully bringing it to your attention.
I would just note that
Alex,
the
anything?
reason we're even discussing this from time to time, as Nadine said, people do complain about their neighbors having chickens. People are waking up, it's creating some infestation in some places. So this is a response to residents. It's not that we're trying to,
There are currently residents who do have chickens.
and their neighbors are not happy
And
about
their
it.
neighbors are not happy. I don't know if they're not getting eggs, I'm not really sure.
So we're trying to find a
what
happy
it is.
medium, not
Yes.
to be
So
chicken-free.
what are the complaints?
I think,
Do we know?
no, well, if they have a rooster,
Okay.
I think it's the noise.
The
You can
noise.
hear those roosters for like.
Yeah.
Definitely
miles.
Maybe
rat infestation.
There's a
So-
possibility of rats. There are also other predators that come when you have
Fox.
chickens. Snakes,
Smell,
fox,
smells.
smells.
So is there anything
My mo-
in
my-
your ordinances that would have some kind of a routine inspection for health code stuff
I-
and
Yeah, I think we're,
rodent infestation?
I think we're proposing.
Those are the things that we would have to look at.
An annual inspection.
An annual.
And that's actually, so when the coop is approved, so a coop can be constructed to prevent a lot of that. So if you have a permeable floor versus a non-permeable floor, stuff like that, would try to keep up the cleaning. If you keep up the cleaning, then chances are not as high that you would have rats. If you have a solid coop, that would be hard for snakes or weasels or rats to get in. So I think all these things need to be factored in.
And also, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. A lot of other towns have gone through this, so we can learn the good and the bad
Exactly.
from them.
Yeah, I mean, we have a good sample ordinance from TNEC, and we believe Berkeley Heights is looking at that ordinance as well.
But how many people in town that we have been alerted to have
I
them?
think Bernadette, was it 5 or 6 or so?
There's at least 5 or 6.
Yeah.
There's probably more though.
5 or 6 that we're probably aware of.
Aware of, yeah.
And the second point says there should be a zoning clause before the application is submitted? So you would have to have.
So we would have to put that in the ordinance, like if, I guess, like.
Like, right now,
minimum
you
lot
can be in an
size.
apartment, and technically,
Yeah.
we don't have anything that, we'd want to require you have some sort of land, not right up against your neighbor, some sort of setbacks. That's what we're going to learn
Yeah.
from what these other towns are doing.
Like if you have a coop, you don't want the coop right on top of your neighbor's property. You want to have a certain setback away from your neighbors. You want to have a certain setback.
So
You
I-
don't want it in front yard, you want it in the
I
backyard.
think it's going to be fair to assume not every home is going to meet the requirements to be able to have a coop, so.
Yeah. So we want to make sure that the regulations are solid enough to protect all of our residents and something out there.
Fair, yeah.
And fair.
Yeah, my sister-in-law in Parlin's neighbors have chickens,
Mm-hmm.
and she complains about them being like right on her fence and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the free range question too.
Yeah,
Are
that's
you
a whole
gonna- are you
nother
gonna
topic.
Are you going to let them free range during the day, put them in the coop at night? Are you going to just let them roam in their coop area? You know, my mother has chickens, but my mother has 8 acres of land. So that's a,
Who knew this was part of our job?
I think it's fascinating.
Well-
And the eggs are really good.
Yeah, my only concern is the sanitary thing, you know, and if it attracts other animals, but if we can be assured that they are going to keep them clean and,
I think for discussion purposes, we just
Yeah.
wanted to field everyone that I think we're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
We'll work with everyone to get a good, solid ordinance.
Yeah.
It was just that we weren't hoping people would say, no, everybody should have chickens.
Well, is this something that council wants us to continue doing? Should we continue looking at this ordinance?
I would say yes. I mean, my perspective is, I haven't seen any chickens running across the road or anything. I think probably the people that have them are taking good care of them at this point. And I don't know if you've heard or if we've been contacted by any current chicken owners to say, you know, I'm doing everything that's needed and I don't have issues with snakes or vermin, and this is how I protect the coop, and et cetera, et cetera. And I don't know the situation with those who have complained, the neighbors who've complained. I would definitely say we should not allow any roosters, because I think that is, definitely a source of noise that is not needed at, 4 in the
Wake-up
morning.
calls, yeah.
Right. And also just the way that the coop is situated, as you talked about with zoning, and making sure that there's certain, regulations around, and then the sanitary nature of it. Those really 3 things. It sounds like that's all kind of talked about
Yeah.
in this TNEC ordinance,
Yeah.
from what I've been able to see so far. So, I'm in favor of it. I think if we can give better guidance to the public about what's expected, and, maybe instead of the permit fee, we could collect eggs from people instead.
For
Just
Link.
kidding.
For Link.
For Link,
There you
exactly.
go.
That's a great
Full
idea,
circle.
actually.
But, okay.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
So is this specific to chickens, or is it other fowl?
I believe it would be all egg-laying fowl.
Okay.
So that would include
Pheasants.
your
Peasants,
Quail.
quails.
quail,
Ducks.
Ducks. So I might have an issue with ducks. I mean, ducks are very cute, but my cousin's also on a lot of land out past Flemington, out west a little bit. She was saying that the ducks are the worst. They're nasty and they're very dirty, and so
Okay.
I don't know if we.
They need water.
I guess we can.
I think we're getting-
Well, we've got
Yeah.
ponds,
Well,
plenty
we
of
will
people that have-
research,
okay.
we will research and report back, so stay tuned. Does anybody else have anything?
Listen, whoever has chickens today are in violation of our ordinance. They shouldn't have them, right? Because it's not in our ordinance to have chickens, right? So, let's start there, right? And if we're getting complaints from people having chickens, yeah, I mean, it's our job to take a look at whether or not that's something that we would like to, provide, right? I would be reserving judgment until I would like to see more information from our Board of Health, more information from our Planning Board, right? More information from, our legal team in terms of, what the ramifications of having livestock, in your backyard is. I don't have any of that information at this point in time, so if you guys want to gather all that stuff up and provide it for us,
the
we
plan.
could review it,
That's
take a
the
look,
plan.
and make a decision on whether or not this is something we want to pursue.
Definitely.
I think that's the right course of action.
And we'll be working closely with the Board of Health as well, because then they'll have to adopt any ordinance related as well. Because it will be consistent between the borough and the Board of Health.
Okay.
Okay, so stay tuned for more information on chickens.
Thank you.
Next, we have a discussion item around the bamboo ordinance. So as you recall, at the last meeting, we were introducing a ordinance regarding bamboo, right? And, whether you can plant it, grow it, have it, and if you did have it on your property, how it needed to be maintained. And I think that one of the things that we really were made aware of was the compliance issue around the bamboo and people that currently have it. So I believe the ordinance, as we were looking at it last week, had a 30-day time frame around, remedying the bamboo. So we tabled it last week and are bringing it to discussion this week. Depending on what we agree with, Paul will take that information and run with it and create a new ordinance or a modified ordinance, revised. So just, what are the thoughts? I know that we did, we did talk about the time frame, the remediation time frame wasn't realistic as it
Yeah,
was written.
I think Paul had commented that working with Keith, we could remove the 30-day requirement
Yeah.
from the ordinance, right? And then Keith can kind of manage to his timeline, right, based on when he serves a notification, right? And I think I'm comfortable with that, right? I mean, that gives the homeowner enough time to, plan for it and discuss and work with the borough to, begin planning on how they can remediate if there's an issue. And then from that point on, it's up to our professionals to make sure that they're progressing and moving forward to remediate as necessary.
Yeah, I would say in light of what Mr. Cienko brought to the table last meeting, you made a very good point. You don't have, in 30 days, you probably might get one estimate where you require multiple estimates to procure your contractor. And I think discussions with Keith, it was in the spirit of progress, as long as the resident can show progress, that they're not looking the other way, that they are making progress. I think that's going to be the intent of this ordinance. It's going to be an ordinance, you're still going to have to remove it if it's in the way, but you have to show progress to a borough official that it's happening. I think that's where we're all landing on.
Exactly.
And I think that just because some people don't see the bamboo doesn't mean that it isn't a problem, right? So I know that people have approached me and said that their neighbors have it, and it is a problem. It's encroaching on their neighbor's property. So their neighbors shouldn't be penalized for something that's not theirs. So just like an existing homeowner who has it, the argument is that they shouldn't be penalized, but that homeowner should not be penalizing somebody else. And, I mean, if you drive down South Street, you clearly see the bamboo that is encroaching on the sidewalk and will be in South Street soon, and that's actually a safety hazard. I mean, think about if it was raining or snow or
Line of
ice,
sight.
like, that's a very big potential safety hazard. Or
Yeah.
safety situation, not a hazard.
Yeah, and I think every situation is going to be a little bit different. I mean, there's some homeowners represented here in the correspondence and who've spoken before that have large amounts of it, and, you know, that's going to be expensive and time-intensive to remove, and I think we need to take that into consideration versus other homeowners who might have a very small amount. And then just reflecting to what you said, Diane, if the bamboo that's appearing in neighbor A's yard is actually coming from neighbor B, you know, whose responsibility is it to remove it from neighbor A's yard? And I think we need to be clear about that too. So, you know, there's definitely some more things that we need to talk about and settle on this, but I think the bottom line is that it's, you know, we're serious about trying to eradicate bamboo from New Providence properties, and this ordinance just needs to be written in such a way that it's actually achievable by our residents.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right, so we'll work with Keith, and we'll work with Paul.
Any comment, Paul? No?
No, the only comment is like you, I conferred with Keith, and, you know, Keith had expressed a concern that he had some deadline, and I had said, well, I viewed it as in kind of any other violation. You know, if somebody, I don't know, as an example, maybe puts a deck up without a permit, you got to take the deck down. And there's no deadline, or he'll set a deadline, but as he indicated, you know, as long as he has a sense that they're working towards it, he's never going to impose, you know, fines or issues as long as he's satisfied they're working at it. So there's no reason for a hard and fast deadline.
Did he feel that there needed to be a deadline for discussion, like acknowledgement?
Honestly, I didn't have that conversation with him. I think the way it would work is if he finds somebody's got bamboo in violation, he would give them a notice. He would tell, you know, I'm sure he'd have some discussion, but it would be up to him to issue a violation notice and tell them it's got to be removed. And my understanding of this working in other arenas, I can't say bamboo removal, is it's a cooperative thing. Hopefully it's cooperative. But even when, I know when construction officials, zoning officials issue violation notices and you're supposed to go to municipal court, you go to court and the same thing happens in court, you know, with the judge. You know, okay, we're going to give you another month, you can come back and we'll see. So it's just a matter of communication and working together, and I think all we're interested in this ordinance is, you know, making clear of what is and is not permitted. And then Keith's going to have some discretion in enforcement.
Okay. We will move to council committee reports. We'll start with Mr. Comiskey at that end.
Thank you. All right, this is planning board updates. We had a meeting October 7th on Toll Brothers, and we discussed parking, architecture of the buildings, and the integration of the affordable housing units throughout the property. Those are the big ticket items we discussed. Next meeting, we're requesting, parking was an issue, or a comment relating to parking. Toll Brothers removed parking from the secondary lot, 53 spaces that they were adding to the project. They are okay moving forward with those 53 spaces if the planning board will opine that we can hear it. The lawyers that were hired by residents in the area has an opinion that the planning board cannot hear those 53 spots, and that's a zoning issue. So they're going to be writing their briefs, and they'll be submitting their briefs to the borough and to the planning board for our review. That next meeting, I just want to make clear, for the Toll Brothers is not going to be until November 4th, okay? The next meeting for the planning board is October 21st, and at that meeting, we'll be discussing NP Mountain Developers, which is basically 70 Ryder Way up off of Mountain Avenue, between Mountain Avenue and Southgate, and that's a 297-unit age-restricted residential development. So if you're interested in listening to that discussion, please come to the October 21st meeting. And if you are interested in continuing to ask questions for Toll Brothers, again, that meeting won't be until November 4th. All meetings are 8 p.m. here in council chambers. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Talk a little bit first about Sustainability Committee. As you guys all heard last time, we did get the silver certification from Sustainable New Jersey, huge accomplishment. Again, thank you to Doug and all the committee members. Another recommendation that came from the Sustainability Committee, we discussed this at the last meeting about putting in a resolution supporting the Superstorm Fund. It would be just a resolution of support. So the Sustainability Committee, which is volunteers that are all part of our outreach, have fully supported that. Everybody reviewed the language, and I think our next step is to bring it to a resolution perhaps at the next meeting. So
What would it?
that we're showing support that at the state level, that is state, right? Not federal.
Yeah, the Climate Super Fund.
Climate Super Fund.
Is this the one you mentioned?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is
Yeah.
this from the New Jersey League?
Yeah, it's a standard from the league.
It's just an offer of support. A lot of municipalities have done it already, so this is good to hear that our committee, Sustainability Committee, wants us to put this forward. So I support their position on that, and Kathleen's as well. Stormwater Committee, I know there's several residents here. We had our meeting October 13th, this past Monday. It was only our second meeting, we're still in kind of the organization stage of that committee. We have figured out how we're going to map the entire town and all the hot spots, or wet spots perhaps is the better word. We have a lot of information. We need to create some sort of database. When I say information, we have it from the fire chief, we have it from the police chief, we have the DPW represented. So every call that's ever been made in the last several years, we're aware of, and we're mapping it and want to find a way to know what happened, when it happened, how it happened, and what do we need to do to address it. Union County Police, was it? Bernadette, is a Union County Police drone unit had come out and has done a very interesting videos, I believe 6 or 7 videos throughout all of our channels that lead to the Passaic River. The videos are extremely telling. The amount of residue that is collected by storms that have happened in the last several years, the sediment is creating little islands. I just remembering what Ralph said from DPW, you used to be maybe 2 feet lower in some of those spots. And now when you see the videos, you see little islands being created. somebody looking at that video for the first time will say, oh, it's quite easy. Let's just bring a little bulldozer, a little bobcat, move everything to the sides, create the channel back. That would be great, but DEP does not allow anybody to go set foot in there without permits. We're going to be reaching out and explaining our situation to DEP. How do we get permits? What do they recommend doing? Another interesting factoid is if that little sediment island has a little tree growing out of it, you are not allowed to touch that little island. It's now part of the vegetation. But there's a lot we can do on the maintenance end. There's cutting back some of the trees, not the roots, because the roots are actually helping keeping the foundations of the bank in place. You heard us read a resolution about partnering with neighboring towns, 6 or 7 towns. That's going to be a next step that's just for planning purposes. We also had Colliers, our engineering firm, at the meeting. They're going to start mapping every single brook, every single connection point that we have. That's going to be required by DEP anyway. So even though we have very good mapping that we think is good, it's kind of interesting. Every department kind of has their own, and it all kind of meshes into one big map. But having an official engineering firm come out and do this with GIS mapping is going to be very, very telling. Now, with all that said, what are we going to do for our own system, the stormwater system? We have to continue maintaining it. We're going to have to start budgeting. I think I mentioned this the last time. Montana Construction, who's done a terrific job, but for them to come out, it's probably about $7,000 a day to put the camera in. And then, of course, once you put the camera in, you see the roots, you see the problems that you have. It's good to know your problems. That's the number one issue we need to do, is diagnose what the problem is. Some of the problems we can solve with routine maintenance, or preventative or predictive maintenance, as it's called. And I think we are fully committed to doing that in the next couple of budget cycles. But the only thing I wanted to mention to the folks on the Stormwater Committee, it's very early on in the process for us. We are still organizing our approach. I know that we received correspondence to all of mayor and council that will be addressed, meaning we will give you a response of how we're going to communicate. But right now, I think when we originally met for the first time, and you can stop me anytime, Bernadette, we thought it was going to take 2 to 3 months for us to kind of come up with a plan of attack. I think it would be too premature to promise anything of what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. But we are definitely heading in the right direction. I think there is a very good commitment by all the people on the committee. Everybody understands the problem. None of us want to be dealing with floods throughout the streets and the brooks. So more to come is all I wanted to say. I don't know if you wanted to add anything.
I think you hit it all.
That's all I have. One more personal comment. I think this week has been extremely personal to me. As a Jewish American, I think having all the hostages free has been a terrific point, regardless of your politics. Peace is extremely important to all of us, and I commend all the governments that had anything to do with getting the hostages back, prisoners back. It's good for everyone's peace of mind, so just had to get that off my chest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nadine? Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. That was
Thank you.
good report.
Okay, just a couple of things. So tomorrow, I don't know if somebody else was going to be talking about the reevaluation information session, but there is an information session here tomorrow at 7 o'clock related to the revaluation which is going on. The team has been out on the street already, but this is a great opportunity for you to bring your questions, to understand more about the process. So hopefully you can join us here tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Also tomorrow, now for the Mental Health Committee, and I just had to open this because I would be remiss on the name of the author. There is a series that is starting at the high school tomorrow. It's called The Anxious Generation, which is going to be starting, it's the first of a 3-part parent series. It's going to be community conversations about how we can help our kids balance the digital world and real world, sleep better and stress less, form stronger social connections, and increase attention span. This is based on a book that is written by Jonathan Haidt, H-A-I-D-T, and I thought that was something that was very interesting. Having children in this time, I think it's important for us as parents and grandparents, people who play a role in guiding our children's lives to better understand this. So I know I, for one, will be attending that tomorrow. And last but not least, for Revolution NJ and the Historical Society, last Thursday, Councilwoman Belisca and I attended a discussion on Carl Scholes and the Gilded Age. It was held at the Corso Center, presented by Maria DeLuca. And it was a very fascinating conversation about a family. Carl Scholes was a businessman who ran a mineral water firm. And while a lot of people were going to Newport and other places for their second homes, he wanted to come to the mountains, so he came here to New Providence. And he had a huge tract of land, 400 acres, that's up at the top of the hill. Murray Hill section is what he started, named after Murray Hill in New York. So it was an amazing conversation, and kind of really, I feel like that's the kickoff of the Historical Society, having more discussions for Revolution NJ next year. I thought it was very interesting. Do you have anything about that?
No, it was an excellent talk. It's a fall talk. We will also have a spring talk with the spring meeting, so just keep posted with that. They're always excellent. But you want to talk about the mug?
And yes, I sure do. I should have brought my mug tonight.
Forgot to remind
We
you.
also kicked off it's a Stein. So the Historical Society is sponsoring the sale. It's a Stein. It's very nice. It's off-white color, and it has our logo on it, America
Our
250.
Council Advisory Committee
Our
logo.
Council Advisory Committee, America 250. It's a great Stein, a great fundraiser. $20 each, very affordable. Makes very nice holiday gifts. So I purchased mine the other night. So stay tuned. Those will be everywhere. They'll be at the Pioneer Day as
local.
well. Buy them. Yep, buy local. So that's it for me.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Nadine. So I just want to mention that Anxious Generation, The Anxious Generation has been a bestseller for months now. So the fact that that discussion is coming into New Providence is key and super important, especially in light of, just what we're, just this world that we're living in, and how everybody's just glued to their phones.
Exactly. And whatever we can do to help
Yeah.
navigate our children through that, I think is so important.
Absolutely. As far as myself, what do I have here? The Beautification Committee is still out there trying to raise funds to beautify our parks, but in the short term, as I said at the last meeting, to light up Centennial Park for the holidays. If you don't have a reflective house sign, please consider purchasing one. The proceeds from that do go towards the Beautification Committee, or you can just make a donation if you already have a sign. So I thank some of our council folks that have made a donation towards that. So they're working hard, trying to get that done. Library and mental health meet this coming week, so nothing on that. But one of the things that I did want to mention was that we did put out recently our volunteer application, and this is to be able to volunteer to serve on one of our volunteer advisory committees. We do have quite a few that need some members. Beautification Committee needs people, Diversity Committee needs people, Mental Health can always take a couple more hands.
Alliance.
The Municipal Alliance, Sustainability. So these are all committees that are volunteer, that our residents have direct input in, that they are members. Council sit on these advisory committees, but we're just liaisons. We're not running it.
We're not running the show. This is completely the residents' voice and how, what, you know, the residents would like to see come from some of these committees. So it is really important that you consider volunteering, that you go online. The application is on the website. It's under government, volunteer advisory committees, and then there's a link for volunteer application. So please consider volunteering and giving back.
All chairmen of all the committees should be going out to all their members as well to make sure that if they want to re-up and continue to volunteer next year, that they still are required to fill out an application.
Right, so this is an annual process. So if you're already a member of a particular committee, you do have to re-up, reapply. We're not going to just assume that you're coming back, because that usually is not, doesn't work out well.
Yeah. Well, we created the handbook last year, and the whole process is in the handbook. And like you said, the council advisory committees serve at the pleasure of council, and we guide what we would like them to do, but a lot of different ideas come out of them, too.
Absolutely.
I'm up. Okay. So, you know, I always say communications, go to the source, newprov.us. Don't forget to sign up for Smart 911 or Notify Me. Our communications committee actually met since our last council meeting, and it was very, very productive. We spoke about, like we usually do, and it comes up every couple months, couple years, how are we doing, what are we doing, is there any other way to engage the community? We talked about like 311 systems, because we had received a couple things. Based on our diverse population and our age range, we have obviously many, many years of people. Basically, our Notify Me system takes the place of any other kind of app. So you can go onto our website, sign up for notifications, you can get them in various ways. The one system that we were looking at, or Bernadette had said, these apps, like the 311 system, costs between $10,000 and $13,000 a year for that type of service, and it's an annual fee. So being the frugal, fiscally responsible department, or, you know, committee that we are, we felt that if we are already satisfying that need, that's probably not something that we need to get. We also talked about an email newsletter, and that's approximately $2,400 a year. Again, if we can get everything through the Notify Me, right at this moment, we discussed not going with an annual newsletter. Plus, that we have various different, through the Notify Me, you've got the PAC newsletter, you've got the REC newsletter, you've got a whole bunch of different things that you can sign up for specific to what you're looking for. And we will be working on the communication plan, and then we will be rolling that out to the rest of council. And hopefully get that done. It's a 5-year plan, get that done for the beginning of next year. Community activities, classes are going well. If you could believe it or not, they're almost halfway through the fall session. Right now, the department is working on special events like Pioneer Day, which is October 26th, the last Sunday of the month, and the Veterans Day at the Corso Center, but that's, in November. Winter basketball registration is open. That starts December 1st. And I don't know if you guys have noticed that there is a new look for the Academy Street entrance with the desk and, so it's when you have classes at night or different things, there will be somebody sitting there. And basically, I said to Allison the other day that it reminds me of like a student center. Right, a student center at a college, and she's like, that was actually what they were going for, so I was happy about that. And it's kind of going to be like, what did they do now? They're looking to spruce up, paint, get some not chairs, but bench seating and such, so it will be a much more inviting and more useful use for that space. Also, Allison Smith and Liz Lee have been invited to speak at the League of Municipalities. So the topic is I don't know exactly what it is, I'm paraphrasing, but how to turn a small grant into a big impact. Apparently, the league was really impressed with what they did with the Green Challenge, because that was funded by a $2,000 grant. So it's a huge deal. I mean, huge kudos to them. So I was excited about that.
1 out of 564 towns.
There's actually, she gave me a number of 300, but yes, that's.
564 municipalities.
Municipalities,
Yeah.
but I think there was something like 300 people or municipalities that received similar grants.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So.
I'm just saying to speak on behalf of our
Right.
little borough. It's
Right,
great.
right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great news.
And, not to belabor this, but again, a kudos to our sustainability committee, because when we were a couple years ago, when we were in League Municipalities at the state sustainability seminar, we're like, our municipality does that, our group does that, our group does that. So, we are pretty cutting edge. Nadine talked about the fall program. The fall graveyard tours are still back. This coming weekend is 4 Centuries in a Weekend, which is a Union County-wide activity. The graveyard tours are on the 18th at 1:30 and 2:30, and also on the 1st at 1:30, November 1st. There is the Mason Room and the Salt Box will be open to the public. Always great things to do. And just definitely check their website. We did have a DID meeting that I forgot to report on. The DID has kicked off their Destination New Providence initiative. It's basically a focused effort to elevate New Providence businesses, the New Providence's business community, and boost economic development. Since the kickoff, the work has, and if you remember the DID in our annual budget, we hired somebody, a team to do that.
Yep.
Since kickoff, the work is focused on building fundamental elements and goals. Changes are incremental and paced and will roll out as resources and approvals line up. The aim is steady, practical progress that supports local commerce in a sustainable way, building on prior efforts while bringing a new level of coordination and follow through, which Fall Festival, month of October, that's something, which will culminate, like I said, Pioneer Day on the 26th. We also had downtown trick-or-treating is on the 25th. We had a open house for the Packet Club, which was a great event. They support so many of our businesses and our organizations in town.
Firehouse.
Also, fire department, I was going backwards because that was in the middle. Our fire department had an amazing open house. There were so many happy kids. I personally had some of the Zita's ice cream. Thank you very much. It's an annual event, so if you missed it this year, definitely go to it next year. Shameless plug, they are volunteers, so please consider donating. And Councilman Cogan and I went to Spanish Heritage Month.
Celebration, yep. Celebration of Spanish.
Celebration starts, Hispanic Heritage Celebration.
The
Trying to
banner
see what
said
my-
Spanish heritage.
Yeah, it did,
that
it
was
did.
Interesting, yeah.
At the Berkeley Heights Y. So that was really great. And shout out to Lorena, who we were able to have some fun with her and listen to her sing. She has an amazing voice. And, it was just, it's so nice on so many levels. And that's another thing that the kids have championed. So that was really very exciting. Did you want to say anything about that?
No, you said it. Just like the Unity Day, this was put together by the kids, a little guidance from adults, but it's very, very moving. It was very good. I thought it was, you always learn something.
Okay, and I do have one more shout out. So one of my friend's sons has been selected to represent Team New Jersey at the 2026 USA Games for the Special Olympics, Christopher Wazinski. So I'm really excited about that. He's, we were talking about it, and I told her I would mention it, in the sport of flag football, and it's the 2026 USA Games in Minnesota. So he's representing Team USA, so hopefully we'll get to, follow his journey, and it's really exciting.
It's a New Providence kid.
It's a New Providence kid,
Awesome.
yeah. And he's, So it's the Special Olympics, and he's just beyond thrilled, so.
How old are you?
I think he turned 18, right? He's 18. So,
Nice.
yeah, so it's very exciting.
That's it? Kathleen?
Want more?
Sure. Kathleen.
Just want to make sure, I don't want to cut you off. Go.
You never know. So with respect to the Diversity Committee, unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend the Hispanic Heritage Day, but I'm glad to hear that it went well. I got a full report from Lorena, and maybe we can get some social media posts out about that, because I have some pictures from her.
We have video of her singing.
You have video of her singing. That's awesome.
It's worth putting up. It's terrific.
Yeah.
That's great. So we'll look forward to supporting that event on an annual basis. And the Diversity Committee did meet last night. We do have a draft calendar of activities, and we'll be submitting it to council for review and approval before the end of the year. Municipal Alliance met this month on October 8th, and as we heard at the beginning of the meeting, Red Ribbon Week is a national campaign. It's celebrated across the country the last week of every October. And Mayor Al will be meeting with the peer leaders in Centennial Park and read a proclamation recognizing Red Ribbon Week in New Providence. And then they will tie the red ribbons around all the trees and lampposts around town to remind residents to live drug-free. The school district also has plans for different activities in each school, and the Alliance sponsors a Red Ribbon Week dance for the middle school students. So that'll be happening. The Alliance also rolled out a new campaign I mentioned last meeting called Parents Who Host Lose the Most. And again, another national campaign to bring awareness to the consequences parents can face if they are caught serving alcohol to underage drinkers in their homes. And it reinforces everyone's responsibility to promote healthy choices in our community. And its key message reminds parents that it's unsafe, unhealthy, unacceptable, and illegal to provide alcohol for underage youth. It decreases their young people's access to alcohol by reducing the number of parents willing to provide alcohol for young people. And over time, it reduces the likelihood that teens will drink alcohol and suffer the health effects that come from underage drinking. And you might have seen some lawn signs out there that don't talk about elections, but talk about parents who host lose the most. And if you would be interested in one of those, please contact the Alliance at newprovalliance@gmail.com.
Kathleen, when is the Red Ribbon thing in the Centennial Park?
Well, the week is October 23rd to 31st, but I don't actually know when the Centennial Park event is going to be. Yeah, sorry, I meant to look that up, I couldn't find it.
Okay. Bernadette?
Thank you. Just two things. As Councilwoman Joffroy mentioned, Professional Property Appraisers is holding their town hall meeting tomorrow night here in Borough Hall at 7 o'clock. I just want to thank all of our residents that have already cooperated and opened their home to the appraisers. They actually are finishing up the entire borough this week in their first round of attempts. If they missed you, they would have or should have left a card so that you can make an appointment and they can come back when it's a convenient time for you. But if you have any outstanding questions tomorrow night, you can bring any questions to them directly, or you can always call Brian Flynn, our tax assessor, and he will answer anything for you. And lastly, just a reminder, leaf collection is starting on Monday on the west side of town, which is South Street to the Berkeley Heights border. If you need a pickup in the first pickup, you really need to have a permit by Thursday for the first pickup. Leaves should not be put out until Thursday before your scheduled pickup. They must be put out by 6 a.m. on the Monday of your pickup week. Once they go by, they're not coming back until your next scheduled pickup, and the leaves should not be left in the street during that time. Sticks, rocks, other debris may not be commingled into the leaf pile. They jam the machines, which slows down the progress, and only leaves from your property are permitted. So if your landscaper is doing your leaves, they also need a permit, and they may not leave anybody else's leaves. And yes, that does happen. So that's all I have.
Quick question.
That's a good one.
The bridge and Passaic Bridge, any update there? It looks great. I mean.
It's getting there.
Yeah, so last meeting you mentioned by the end of the month, hopefully, so no changes there, so that's great news. And then, what's the status on the pool bridge?
So the contractor is working on a lifting plan with Colliers. So the bridge frame is constructed. They want to be able to pour the concrete and then lift the bridge into place while they're working on the abutments. But their initial plan to do that did not pass muster, if you will. So they're still working on a plan, and as soon as they have that in hand, they'll go back to working on it.
Okay, and so we're not in jeopardy of that pushing off the next year?
I am in contact with Colliers almost every day, and I am well aware that we're getting to the freezing weather and not ideal for pouring concrete, so,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. And I just want to mention too, on the property appraisers, if you see them on your block and you happen to be running out like I was, and you're not going to see them, you might not see them again, they'll just tell them your address, they'll come right there. Say, listen, I'm leaving now, I'm not going to be back for a couple hours. Oh, I'll come right now. It literally took 10 minutes, so like I said, if you see them on your block and you happen to be running out, just say, hey, do you mind just doing my house real quick and get it done with? It's real simple. So they're very flexible.
That's great. Yeah. Do you know what percentage of the houses?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
The goal is for at least 80%, but the tax assessor said today in our weekly meeting that he feels that the borough will far surpass 80% participation.
So I
rate.
can tell you on my block, when I saw him, I asked him, they knocked on 22 doors. They had 15 people answer and 13 people let them in.
Nice.
So those were the numbers I got from the guy on my block.
Hopefully our communication is working, so.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, next we have public comments. This is an opportunity for any member of the public to be heard about issues that are not separate topics scheduled for public hearings tonight. To help facilitate an orderly meeting and to permit all to be heard, speakers are asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes and may only speak once on any one topic. When you come up, please state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Josephine Scharf. I live at 68 Woodcrest Drive. I've lived here for about 34 years. I was hoping that the mayor would be here because a lot of this is addressed to him. Last month, I read something that Mayor Al Morgan was being quoted. I was very impressed with it. It said, he called for civility to return to the political discourse. And he said that the rhetoric has to tone down. And he warned that the political division would bring our whole nation down. And in the same thing that I read, Councilwoman Dolan also spoke. And she pointed out that some disturbing activities had happened in New Providence where lawn signs supporting a candidate had been removed or vandalized. And she warned that with so many security cameras in town, the perpetrators would probably be caught and brought to justice. I honestly forgot about the article. I read it, and I thought, oh, this is nice, and put it aside. But I remember the general tone of it and how pleased I was to read it. Some of you might know, some of you might not, but recently a black SUV drove over a homeowner's lawn and purposely destroyed a political sign. Not with their hands, but with the car, with an SUV. And the video was posted online for everybody to see, and it was honestly very upsetting. As someone who's lived here for a long time, I thought of us all having a, nice town, friendly people, that someone could be so violent and act in such a careless manner. I found it distressing. And I never thought that I'd have to worry about a neighbor doing something like that to another neighbor. We could always use our words, be kind. And I thought about how intimidating such an action would be to someone running, or someone even thinking about running. And I also thought how embarrassing it was for our town. I don't want our town known for something like this. Why would you move to a town like that? You move to a town like, I remember Berkeley Heights having this reputation of being bickering heights. And I didn't buy a house there. I bought a house in New Providence. So it was upsetting to me. And I don't like doing this. I don't like talking in front of people. But I remembered that article, and I thought, we have people who think good things. So I went to look for it, to reread it. So I went on Mayor Morgan's Facebook page. I realized I hadn't been actually following it, so I followed it today, even though I see him all the time. And it wasn't on there. And I didn't remember where I saw it. And I looked on his personal page, didn't see it there. And then I thought, oh, I'll go on the New Providence Forum. A lot of times you have a question about something, you go on there. And I just searched for civility. And sure enough, the article popped up. It was a TAP article. And so I reread it, liked it just as much today as I did then. But I thought about it. And the more I thought about it this afternoon, the more I thought I had to come here and talk. And the reason why is, I think the mayor's lived here for a long time. He served this town for so long. His voice matters. It's an important voice for people to hear on things like that. And what he said was good. So I'm coming here to say, I want him to reiterate that. And I want him to be more forceful in his reiteration and more widespread. It should be on his page. It should be something that's announced in a council meeting. We should not have this kind of action in our town. We should be respectful, polite to each other, and I think that his voice would matter. I really do. So that's what I'm asking. Maybe it was posted other places, I don't know, but it wasn't posted where I saw, and I thought it should have been. That's it. That's all I wanted to talk about.
Thank
So-
you, Josephine.
Thank you.
And I think, for,
Thanks,
if you
Josephine.
think about it, for the most part, you know, there's, I was just thinking this while you were talking. For the most part, I think 99.9% of us are civil and
I
respectful.
agree with you, and it's such a shame for one or two people to ruin
you
it, but
know,
it
and-
does.
But you owe it, you're gonna, unfortunately, you've got one of these, but.
You
I
can't
think
ignore
that-
it because it's not one thing.
Right.
This was on top of the other signs being done. It's persistent, and it's.
And it happens on
It
both
happens every
sides.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
And,
I don't
it's
even.
just-
To be honest with you, it took me a while to figure out whose sign it was. So it wasn't. This wasn't about a political. This is not. And what I'm doing here is not political. It is saying that we should not have this in this town. It doesn't matter. If it was your sign, I'd stand up for you. I don't even. I have no idea what party everyone is. I know some, but not all. So I think it's just something that has to be said. I think we have to stand firm. And I think, we can't, I don't want to be bickering New Providence. Do you? I mean, what, 4,000 people saw the post on Facebook. Tons of people commented on it. I've seen you guys comment on lots of things. None of you said this should not happen. I want to hear all of you say this should not happen.
I want to disagree with you on, Diane and I immediately, when things were getting out of hand, we
Yeah.
immediately made a statement. So did
I'm
the
glad.
folks that were running. A lot of times, for us to go on the forum, we get in trouble for going on the forum.
Okay.
But
It doesn't have
I
to be on the
agree,
forum.
I
It could
agree
be
with
on
your
your page. We
sentiment,
don't
but
get
we
it.
immediately.
Well, it could be on the-
It has no place in this town. I
Right,
couldn't
and the
agree
Mayor
with you
Morgan
more.
should be doing it too,
So-
because Mayor Morgan is the voice of New Providence, and he's been mayor for how many
He-
years?
I think that he says a lot of times at a council meeting, and that's where it should be said.
No, it should also be on his page. I mean, he should have shared the article. When there's another article about him, doing something, he posts the article about himself. He did not post that one. I'm sorry, it's remiss. He was remiss in not doing it. I know him. Don't tell me that he shouldn't have done it. I believe, and I think a lot of people agree with me, that he should be forceful about it and say it. We are all one town. It's important that he do it. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to change my mind. You're not going to change my mind. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Josephine.
Anyone else?
Come on down.
This is short and simple. Robert Sherman, 15 Hawthorne Drive. Alex, you spoke
Yes, sir.
about, what was it? Flood mapping by police calling the town or police. Well, my experience over the years is calling the police, not 911, or the town during a flood is a waste of time. It just goes busy, 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 and then we have to clean up.
I
If
think
you-
my comment, just to clarify that, the police and the fire department respond to any kind of emergency, whether it's a flood or not. They log that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
referring
but I
to.
get busy signals when I call over the years.
No. On patrol, when there's a flood, if they go and they see a flood, they have to close down the street, they're saying, yeah.
Well, that's interesting, because on July 14th, they came to block off the street when it was over. And this is like the 5th or 6th time our street has flooded. So, I believe the view of many is why bother calling? So I'm wondering, what will the committee the town committee do, to better get an idea of where flooding occurs, because just relying upon phone calls will not work.
We're not relying on phone calls. We have data of where the problems are. You and I both know where they are. We know your street is in very bad shape during a storm. We're logging every location in town that has an issue.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. We're trying to create a database of what happens. I believe one of the things we want to learn, and I think you agree with this, is when it rains 2 inches per hour, is the town okay?
Well-
When it rains 3 inches an hour, what areas are not okay? What's the threshold? I think that was one of the questions I believe you even had.
Well, that gets to the downpour thing, which I mentioned the last meeting was ignored. So I'm glad that you guys are interested in that concept.
Yeah.
Of calculating downpour rates and really convert it
Nothing
to
was
height
ignored.
in the creeks to
Correct.
prevent flooding.
Correct.
Nothing
Yeah.
was
I found a hydrologist who is going to explain it to
I understand.
me.
You and I both know that.
Nothing was ignored. I just want to make that clear. Excuse me. You said that you call the police department and it's busy?
Busy, busy, busy. This first
That's the
time was
first I've heard of
Hurricane
that.
Floyd.
Yeah, we'll look into that. That's the first I've heard of our police
Yeah,
department.
because I
being
don't call,
busy,
it's a
busy.
non-emergency. I'm not going to call
Not the
911.
emergency number, just the regular number.
Yeah, 665-1111.
But there's also an answering service, right, to leave
No,
voicemails. So
Yeah.
to have a busy signal, I'm very surprised. I will look into that.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Brian Gardner, 25 Knollwood Drive. I do want to very quickly give a +1 to what Josephine said. There's literally no downside to making a strong statement, on behalf of the mayor for calling for civility. I'm a huge proponent of what the mayor and Councilwoman Dolan said, and the more often we say it, hopefully the more people who will hear it. That's not actually why I'm here tonight. Last week I was driving my kid to middle school and it was raining and the traffic on South Street was backed up, past Central through the light, and it took a little while to get through it. And that's pretty typical, and that whole situation is its own conversation all by itself. But it had me thinking, one of the reasons why it's complicated is that there's some town streets involved, there's some county streets involved. And I was also thinking about, what the mayor said a couple of times, that some of these things take a long time to deal with. So my question tonight is, can we start planning now and working with the county to get some kind of town-wide traffic study once the bridge is reopened, once Primrose is up and running, once the Bard property is open, during the school year, to really get a comprehensive look at what our traffic looks like today, or probably in a couple of months from now, but in the current state, and then what options are available to us in partnership with the county to address some of the challenges. So just hoping that we could maybe get the ball rolling on that.
Anybody want to take this one? So every year for the last couple of years, the police department has held an open session about traffic, and they've created a traffic master plan. They've divided the town into 4 regions and zones, and they've had people from each of those regions and zones come and give their experiences with traffic. And from there, they've created a hit list, so to speak, of things that they're going to take off that list. They report back to us then at the end of the year to let us know how that's working, and then they repeat that the next year. So every single year, the police offer this open session for people to talk about, and they discuss traffic, what's changed, changes, improvements, etc. And they do report back to us as council and to the public on what it is that they've improved. I believe that can be found on the borough website, the original master plan, as long as the improvements that are on it and the progress.
And Brian, to your question,
If I
the
left
last one that we attended, that was on their radar for sure. What is Primrose? What is Bard property? How is that going to impact? So they
But
do.
that traffic pattern that you see there by the high school was a result of, feedback and changes that were made to improve that high school traffic circulation.
The other thing about that traffic pattern is for safety versus convenience for people, right? Everybody's funneled into the high school in one direction and they leave in the other
One
direction.
door.
So there was a big safety component related to that also,
Absolutely.
which people always overlook.
No, totally understood. And when I actually got up to the school, the drop-off worked very smoothly. So that's why I said that's kind of a whole conversation in and of itself. I love what you're saying, but that is essentially anecdotal data, right? It's whoever shows up, whoever has something to say about it.
And then also, anytime they get a complaint from anybody, anytime that they, God forbid, there's an accident, anytime there's an issue, all of that gets logged into.
And they do hire a traffic study company to do this stuff, so it's not anecdotal.
Okay, that's what I was looking
It
for.
is a
Guy standing on the.
It is a numerically based thing.
No, fair
Are you
enough.
talking
And
about
it's also
the,
a living document.
are you talking about the forum that was held in February of last year?
I don't remember the month it was.
Yeah,
So
it's
there'll
usually
be,
in the beginning of the
there'll be
year.
another one, I assume, in
Every year.
February?
Every year.
Every year.
Okay,
And
so,
it's advertised on the website, on our social media. If you actually sign up for Notify Me, you'll probably get a notification about it.
Excellent.
so I think the slide deck from last February is available
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
website.
that'll be on the
Um,
website.
What has happened since February, I'm not sure if they're updating that as it goes along, but it would be good to know, like, what's on the docket for.
And perhaps we can get Andrew Diamond or
Yeah,
somebody to
that'd
come
be
in and
great.
give a presentation.
Yeah.
Well, they do. They present what
every
they've,
year.
they lay out their plan, and they'll present at the next meeting what has been accomplished, what's in the pipeline, and what's going on in the future. It's all, it's a comprehensive plan. We're one of the first towns to be proactive in doing this.
Understood, but I guess maybe my final question would be, is there coordination with the county built into that process? Because, several of the main roads in town are county roads, and there's only so much we can do with them.
Oh, definitely, always. Especially the first street crosswalk that comes to mind is South and Central, all of which are county.
And they're always looking at whether or not we can add a traffic light on this road, or change it, put a no-turn lane on that road if it's county, and things of that nature. We reach out to them all the time and try to
They're
plan
highly
accordingly
trained
with
and
them.
qualified.
Sometimes they say no, sometimes they say yes.
It's a living document, so it's dynamic and changes as the environment changes.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing no one else, we will move to our consent agenda. I ask for a motion on items 1 through 10.
So moved.
Second.
Third.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes?
Ms. Belisca?
Aye.
Mrs. McKnight?
Yes.
Mrs. Jeffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Kogan?
Yes.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Aye.
Great, thank you. And next, we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
All in
Aye.
favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, everyone.
Thank you for coming.